Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump. I especially like.
Well, what about of all of them? I mean, Scott
fake
Walker.
Laughter from the audience.
Scott Walker, would you say?
Of the ones who aren't declared, no, Romney Walker's my ticket.
Romney Walker. See, but last time you said if we nominate Romney, we'll definitely lose.
And I was right, but
well, why will he win this?
That was 2
Third
years
time's the
in
charm?
advance, and it was because actually third time was the charm for Reagan.
Right.
It was because it's very hard to take out an incumbent, and the reason I supported Christie back then, and I don't now, was because he's so flashy and idiosyncratic that we probably were going to lose, but the only shot we had was this wild, idiosyncratic guy. I think Romney would crush Hillary.
I would do anything for
Though
Trump.
if you ran,
Trump.
if
Christie.
you ran Bernie Sanders, it would be much tougher.
Bernie Sanders?
It would be much tougher to beat him than
You think would be a better candidate than Hillary?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
because he would excite the base.
He cares about the American middle class, working class. Hillary doesn't. She's like the elected Republican. She cares about the Chamber of Commerce.
Reactions panel?
It's going to be Marco Rubio.
Well, you think it's going to be Marco Rubio?
I think Marco Rubio's got the best chance. And if you saw the announcement he gave, which followed a couple weeks ago, followed Hillary Clinton's, stark contrast. He talked about yesterday, a candidate from yesterday, gave a speech about yesterday. I think Rubio has the charisma, the sort of freshness. He's Hispanic, he speaks fluent Spanish. That's not nothing.
He's Cuban.
But he speaks fluent Spanish.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Sure, as they do in Cuba.
Ted Cruz doesn't speak Spanish.
Are
by the way.
Cubans also rapists?
No, they're good. I think they're good.
They're good? Okay. All right.
I don't get this fascination with Rubio. I really honestly don't. What is his qualification to actually be president of the United States, other than that he fills a demographic hole for your party?
He's more qualified than Barack Obama.
In what way?
He was a Speaker of the House of Florida. He was a Speaker of the House of Florida. He passed immigration reform.
He's
a bipartisan immigration. He passed a bipartisan immigration
all
reform
it took
law.
for him to turn against immigration reform was for Russia to sneeze on him, and he changed his mind.
Wait.
No, he fought hard for it.
Wait. He passed it.
In the Senate.
In the Senate.
Yeah.
And then he ran
He is a U.S. senator.
That's not passing it.
He passed it in the Senate.
That's nothing.
It's also like being...
You know how a bill becomes a law.
Yes, I am aware.
Okay. Then he didn't pass it.
Did Barack Obama champion immigration reform when he was in?
I'll tell you what I think.
He didn't pass it.
Second
What I think.
lieutenant on the Titanic.
I think that
Exactly.
You don't like Rubio.
No, I mean, all he's done, first he violated his pledge. He ran saying comprehensive immigration reform, and that's amnesty. I'm against it. He gets people to vote for him.
What do you want to do with the 15
3
million?
years.
What do you want to do, though?
Still talking.
What do you want to do?
Then he spends 3 years doing nothing but pushing amnesty.
What do we do?
And we know it's not popular, which is why I'd prefer Bernie Sanders to Hillary Clinton, who's now on the side of the Chamber of Commerce. Because
you are out of the box.
The American people have 3 times shut down an amnesty in the last 10 years, and it's not because any network or any politician, other than a few very small ones, were opposing it. It was the American people rising up and saying we don't want amnesty. So if that's your big selling point,
I just want to ask.
Nope, don't think it's going to get any place.
In all seriousness, right? So I'm with you. I want to secure the border. I think we need assimilation. But if we have 15 or 30 or 30 million, however many illegals here, what do you do with them if you don't have a pathway to citizenship?
I think it's ridiculous to talk about it until the border is
That's
secure.
a cop-out.
No, it isn't.
Well, what would you?
No, it isn't. You secure the border
I agree.
first.
Let's secure the border, and then what do we do with
it?
this?
In 1986, Reagan passed an amnesty saying, "This is it. One amnesty. We'll have border security." It was a lie. Then we got either 12 or 30 million.
Ronald Reagan
being against
lied.
immigration
First, you
reform,
want the fence.
being against immigration reform is for the status quo. That means we keep the status quo. The fact is we have 2 million people working in the fields every day in America. They provide us our food. Now, if I could, and they provide us with food, and we should pay them a decent salary because this is America. Number one.
Why should it be the
Number
ones
two.
that live within walking
Number two.
distance?
Number two.
What about the other
Number two. Number
billions
two. We
of
are
people
not
who
going to
wanna come
deport
here?
our way out of this. Mitt Romney,
Of course we will.
Mitt Romney got more white votes than any other candidate for the presidency of the United States, and he still got his ass whooped by Barack Hussein Obama by 5 million votes. Because, and so my point to you, Bill, is there's this new American coalition. It's young people, it's gay people, it's Latinos, it's Hispanic, it's people who believe in the environment. And so when I saw Jeb Bush actually attempt to broaden the tent of the Republican Party, he had a diverse group of people. He spoke in English and in Spanish fluently, and he was unafraid
No reason why
to
conservatives can't win Hispanic votes.
Yeah, there is.
But George
They
W.
speak
Bush got
about them like there's some
What?
sort of
We're not
some
winning
sort of
this.
You know what? You're right.
disease on the body politics.
That's a problem, isn't it?
That's why they can't. And
That
here's the
does
thing.
hurt.
Why
But
would
George
it-
W. Bush got
Why
40%.
do Republicans have to
Well-
be obsessed with winning Democratic constituencies? Why don't we start haranguing Jack, still talking.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we start haranguing the Democrats? Why don't you guys try to cut off more of the evangelical vote? Because you are losing with that. That's 40%
And you
of
know what,
America.
May I
Why don't you
risk
get the gun
agreeing
owners?
with one thing that Ann Coulter has to say? I think it is absolutely a bit insulting to say that Hispanics are going to, like lemmings, vote for the Republican Party because your candidate has an O at the end of
Why
his name.
should they like lemmings
His
vote? Why should they?
policies-
But why should they
his
like lemmings vote for the
policies-
Democratic Party?
Because the policies of the Democratic Party, every
No.
poll will show you,
Yeah.
most Latinos agree
Agree
with
with
the
it. That's
policies
right.
of the Democratic
they want
Party.
the American
They're voting their
dream-
interests. They're voting the policies they agree
want
with.
big government.
Marco Rubio
Marco
turned
Rubio's-
against his
Marco
own
Rubio's dad
bill.
came here.
But look,
from
if you
Cuba.
want
He was a
Latinos
bartender.
to
He
listen
wants
to
the American
Republicans, the
dream.
first sign you have to take off is that I don't like you sign. Because as long as
But I
you
like
have
you.
I get that.
I
But
dig
that's
you,
not
man.
but that's not going to win you an election. Because I'm one voter. But there are millions
One voter
of
at a
voters.
time.
There are millions of voters out there. And when Donald Trump, and I find this amazing
When the book's
that the
called- when the book's
Republican
called
Party
Adios
did
America,
not
it does
challenge
present a
Donald
problem.
Trump on what he said. On what he said. No one in the Republican Party,
Right.
Donald Trump. It says, so if Jeb Bush challenges Donald Trump, challenges him and wins and gets through miraculously, gets through the Republican primaries, I think then Latinos will say, God, that guy championed our cause. He took on the man that called us rapists and murderers, and he took him on. And you know what? They will reward him because
No, they
he's
won't.
open
No,
their
they
hearts.
won't.
All right. Let
No,
me
they
go on
won't.
to
He'll
another
lose by-
subject.
as George Bush did, he'll lose the Hispanic vote 64.
All right.
But you know what? If
And
you get, if
you-
we-
and by the
All right,
way,
you
you
get
are-
tired.
if a Republican gets 40% of the Hispanic
Jeez.
vote, he's the president.
No, he isn't.
right.
Yes, he is.
No, you need 71% of the Hispanic vote, and Mitt Romney still would have lost 4% more of the white vote, and he would have won. So what is it Republicans fixated on? And I do not think you are speaking for the Hispanics in this
You're
country
right.
because they're
Mitt
the ones.
Romney should have been whiter.
No.
I believe
George
that's.
Bush could
I
have been
believe that's
whiter.
the
I think George
conclusion.
Bush-
Mitt Romney was not white. God damn it. If the Supreme Court rules against Obamacare, can we count on Congress to ensure that millions aren't left without insurance?
Absolutely not. They're not going to. I mean, Congress is so dysfunctional at this point. But the irony will be if the Supreme Court rules against the Affordable Care Act, you're going to have millions of red state Americans who will suddenly have their middle class insurance ripped out of their hands, while blue states who went ahead and formed exchanges will still have their insurance. It'll be a crisis for those members of Congress in those red states that are going to be find from their constituents that, wait a minute, I'm losing my health care? I thought it was just going to be them. And when they find out that it's going to be us, not them, I think it's going to be a problem for the Republican Party.
All right. Thank you, panel. Thank you, audience. You were terrific. But we're done.